Okay, class, take a look at the diagram. Okay, so please take a look. We are in the chapter 4, explanation of on the essence and stages of practice the three vehicle. Okay, so class for just to remind you, we just finished the taking refuge. Okay, then entrance of the Dharma. The third is the 5 vehicle. Now we go to the 3 vehicle. So in the 3 vehicle, what are we going to learn? Generally, you see how. So in the chapter 4, section 1, in the stage 1, we're explaining the difference in the the types of people who undertake this path. So today, basically, we're still in the number 1. Generally, the Stravaka practitioner will understand the Stravaka and we'll try to explain the different aspect of the practitioner. So this is, I think, this is our scope for today. Okay. Then, okay, so Yukwa, can you please, okay, no, not chat. So let's take a look. So this is in the previous lesson, we talked about that the Dharma will be different according to the capacity. Once we talk about the 3 vehicle, meaning to say that it means Shravaka, Prachaka Buddha, and the Bodhisattva. Okay, and then, but the main group is more on the Shravaka vehicle. But basically, once we talk about the Shravaka, there will be one impression that Shravaka means what? It means Theravada monk. Basically, people will think about that. Oh, this is the Shravaka or Theravada monk. But actually, it's actually might not be that correct. The reason is, even though in Mahayana, maybe we call it as a Northern Buddhism. Not all aiming for Bodhisattva. Some, even though they wear Chinese dress, but basically they hope that if they're aiming for, if they're aiming for Arahantship, they still call them as a Stravaka. And since they enlightened through listening to the Dharma, so Stravaka is the exact definition for them. Okay, next, let's take a look. But anyway, a Theravada or Stravaka is the good name. Okay, so what is the bad name to calling them? What is the bad name to calling them?
I can't remember what name is that. I normally won't call that name.
Yeah, the name is a Hinayana. Okay,
Hinayana.
In Mandarin, we call it as a Xiao Chen. Okay, but some because they use the name too long already, they also feel nothing already. Sometimes you call Xiao Chen, oh, they also we are Xiao Chen. So then take a look. So we finish this, and we go to this. And according to the Agama Sutra, only 2 bodhisattvas are mentioned, which is Shakyamuni Bodhisattva and Maitreya Bodhisattva. There's only 2 bodhisattvas only. Once we talk about the bodhisattva. Okay, among the Stravaka disciples of the Buddha, there were some with the fundamental nature of the Prachaka Buddha. Okay, meaning to say that some Stravaka, they call it as a Prachaka Buddha. A Prachaka Buddha meaning to say that self-enlightened. Without any other teaching, they are able to enlighten by themselves. But it's just logic to enlighten by themselves. Mr. Leong, why Prachaka are able to enlighten by themselves? Mr. Leong?
It's because of their past existence. They have this basic, and so they understand the dependent origination.
Okay, very good. So applause, Mr. Leong, very good. Yeah, because in the previous life, they already have the vipassana experience, and maybe it's quite close to the sotapan. So for this life, they just a little bit to proceed them to become enlightened. So we call them as a Prachaka Buddha. So while you're turn to read in the past, please.
In the past, Stravaka was a general name for all the Buddha's disciples, and this name indicated that these disciples has become enlightened after hearing the Buddha's teachings. The Tiantai school called it the Tripitaka teaching because it includes not just the Hinayanis but also Bodhisattvas. But the Senso school calls it the small teaching because it is primarily based on the Sravaka Dharma of the small vehicle. In fact, Sakyamuni's Buddha Dharma, such as he taught it during his lifetime, reveal both the partial and whole truth.
Okay, thank you so much. Off the mic, please. Okay, we mentioned all this before. See, the disciple, after hearing Buddha teaching, okay, a few terminologies. One is a Tian Tai. Okay, let me try to search with a newly found dictionary. This is a very good dictionary. We know this that. So let me try to get it. Tian Tai. This is one of the school established in China. It's not in Indian. Maybe a little bit burden for Banana to learn all this Tian Tai or what. But basically, if you know Mandarin, you can understand it better. So let me see first. Not that good. Dictionary. So this is what I want. Tian Tai. A class, please just write down Buddhist door global, Buddhist door. This is very helpful for you, especially you learn, the Sanskrit, which is literally translated to English. So you're able to find a lot of information here. Okay, so it's not available. Anyway, just Tian Tai, we just roughly understand a little bit. If let's say you go to China, you're still able to go for this place. This is in Tian Tai San. It's in Zhejiang. Let's take a look. So if let's say we are using the Xi'an as Xi'an. Let's say we depart from Xi'an. So this will be the Tian Tai. If you walk about 330 hours, so here is the Tian Tai. Take a look. Tian Tai. Well, this is a quite famous place. Why? The reason is the founder. The name of the founder is we call it as a Zhi Dashi. He famous. He is famous due to he's trying to sort out all the Tripitaka. He famous in sorting out all the Tripitaka during Tang Dynasty. So let's take a look. This is a Tian Tai. Tian Tai Mountain. They also practice the Anapanasati in this place, the Tian Tai Mountain. You see, I think this is a visiting spot already, but it is a quite famous temple also. So if let's say if possible, you go there, you can have a visit here. But quite modernized. Wow, just you can dine in here already. Am I right? It looks so luxurious. Okay, but actually this temple is was established about 1,400 years ago. Nowadays, Tian Tai also quite famous for what? Meditation. Tian Tai, they do Anapanasati very well, and it is flourishing in Japan for 1,000 years. More than 1,000 years. So you go to Japan, you can call, you can look for visiting at the Tian Tai in Japan. So you are able to see their origin from China. So this is the place of the originality of the Tian Tai. Okay. Tian Tai, we can say that Tian Tai is the place. So meaning to say that for Tian Tai, it is you can say that this is the Buddhism which have been recreated by the Chinese people. Because one Indian Buddhism, they start import to China. So the Chinese people, after learning the Buddhism, they will try to have their own commentary. They will recreate certain new perception. So for this school, they are quite emphasized in Lotus Sutra. So we call it as a Tian Tai. Okay, but one thing is very what makes the Tian Tai is so famous is there's one event happening. So let's take a look. You see, for example, so this is a Tian Tai. This is a the founder of the Tian Tai, Zhi Dashi, he was once bowing to the Lotus Flower Sutra, and he entered to the samadhi of the Lotus Flower Sutra, and he noticed that this place, the Lingjiu San in Indian, Buddha still preaching in this place. This is the Lingjiu San. Buddha is still preaching here. Let me try to find the Lingjiu San English for you. So this is the event. Garakutta. This is the Garakutta. So Tian Tai Zhi Dashi, once he tried to bow to the Lotus Sutra, he entered to the samadhi and noticed that in Garakutta, Buddha is still preaching there. So this event make him become famous. Meaning to say that once you go to the samadhi, time and space is nothing already. Once you go to the samadhi, present, now, and future, they will be in the same. They happen spontaneous at the same time. So if you meditate well, maybe you are able to experience this. Mr. Leong, are you familiar with this place or not? We call it as a Garakutta.
Which place is it?
Have you ever heard about this?
Vulture Peak, I think. Not in Chinese, in English, it's called Vulture Peak, if I'm not mistaken.
A vulture peak. I think
Vulture Peak.
Yeah, because it looked like a vulture. Yeah, that's true.
On the right hand.
Right hand side, yes, because it looked
on the
like
right hand
vulture,
side is written Vulture Peak.
It looked like a vulture. Okay. So
but Sifu, sorry, Sifu, this is where the Lotus Sutra was preached, right?
Yes. Okay, Lingjiu San. Not Lotus Sutra. Lingjiu San. So let me check for you. There are quite a numerous of the sutra you preach here, you know. So let me find for you. Vulture Sutra. Okay. A vulture speed. Let me try to check English for you. Yeah, vulture speech. Let's take a look. Okay. Oh, yeah. Sally is correct. Dharma Flower Sutra is here. Dharma flower is sutra is here. Dharma flower sutra, Prashya sutra, and Agama also here. Partial of Agama also here. Please write down while you speak. Next time I'll try to use English to search for you. Okay, so this is a few terminology that will be fine already. So next, the diversity of Stravaka practitioner. Yongxin, your turn to read, please.
The way of liberation should be far away from the two extremes of asceticism and pleasure-seeking. The Buddha, to accommodate those who wanted to have pleasure, allowed lay people to remain at home to practice the Dhamma, and to accommodate ascetics, he allowed them to leave home to be Shramanas. The Buddha Sravaka disciple had different fundamental natures. First, there were the two categories of lay people or monastics. During Shakyamuni Buddha's time, the social customs in India were moving towards extremes. The majority of people were pleasure seekers and hedonists who pursue endless desires and became enslaved by them. The most extreme were the materialistic Lokayatas and the Saktas, who worshipped sexual desires and regarded sexual intercourse between men and women as the greatest happiness and the most wonderful method of liberation from birth and death. At the opposite extreme were ascetics who believed in suppressing their desires. Such people were present in all the groups of Sramanas and were found among the non-Buddhists who gave up lay life during that time. Most extreme were the giants, some of whom did not wear clothes, slept on thorns, and ate no cooked food, but lived solely on wild vegetables and fruits, drank nothing but water, or practiced special modes of breathing. All these injurious activities of the body and mind were regarded as holy practices. When Sakyamuni Buddha turned the Dhamma wheel, he began by revealing the middle way, the practice of neither asceticism nor pleasure seeking. He considered both extremes incapable of leading the body and mind to a normal state, and hence not conducive to liberation. The middle way means to live in a way in which the desire have been transformed by wisdom. One controls but does not injure oneself. One enjoys things that are necessary for living but does not indulge. This alone is true way of liberation.
Okay, thank you so much. Off the mic, please. Okay, Shakyamuni suggests the middle way. The reason he suggests the middle way, the reason is due to the popularity of the practice of exastic at that time. Let's take a look. Exastic. So this is the exastic at that time. We are able to see the people maybe just put a hand, okay, or you see the people maybe just continue in one posture, even though Shakyamuni himself maybe fasting, okay, for 6 years, every day just eat one grain only. Some are naked, okay, so we call it all are exastic practice. So they try to torture themselves and make themselves suffer for enlightenment. But this is disagreed by Shakyamuni. But besides, this is one of the extreme. And one of the example for this extreme will be the Jainism. Let's take a look. Jainism. For the Jainism, we are able to see that they got two types of the Jainism. So this is Jainism. There's one type that totally naked. Okay, if you go to Google search, you are still able. The YouTube. You go to search. You are able to see. Because I think maybe YouTube, they know that this is a religion stuff. They don't ban it. They don't put in the they don't ask whether are you above 18 years old to watch the video clip, or this is a religion. So you can able to click it. Because now I'm doing the recording. I don't want to record all these things. You can later on go have a look. It's totally naked. They just use one of the like the fan to cover the body only. Then all the disciples will offer them the food, like something like that. So there's a Jainism. It goes to the other extreme. But the other extreme, we got a name. We call it as a sensual seeker, pleasure seeker. So for them, they are overindulged in all the pleasure, all type of the pleasure. But for Shakyamuni, he suggests the middle way. So middle way is still the best way for you all. So meaning to say that nowadays, you go to watch the movie, no problem. You go for the fine dine, no problem, as long as you do indulge yourself. And then you don't need to fast and make yourself hunger, no need. Okay, so this is the best way for all of you nowadays. So we call it as the middle way. Okay, this is which is recommended by Shakyamuni. Middle way is still the best way. So here a few terminology. Let me see. One is materialistic is a loka, yatta, and the sakta. So sakta, I think they are the school who sakta. Let me see. Sakta. Sakta, I think, is the school which emphasize on yeah, see, this is the sakta. They got the symbol. Shaktism. Yeah, take a look. Class, this is the Shaktism. Shaktism, doctrine of energy, power, the eternal goodness, is one of the several Hindu denominations. Well, in regards to Supreme Godhead, it includes let's see first. Okay. Shaktism actually they involve also how should I put it? Shaktism is known for its various sub-tradition of the Tantra. So this is Shaktism mentioned here, and they are the pleasure seeker. So class, you can have you can write something that it is known for various of tradition of the Tantra. And they include the yoga sects inside this Shaktism. So when you talk about in Tibetan Buddhism, we notice there is some yoga sects in the Tantric Buddhism. We suspect it is imported from Shaktism, which is influenced by the Shaktism. You see, this is the pendulum of the goodness in the Shaktism grow after the decline of the Buddhism in India. So once after the Buddhism decline, they raise up of the Shaktism. They become more and more flourish. Okay, a little bit know enough. If you know the Indian god, you see Durga, Saraswati, Lakshmi. Let's take a look. You see Saraswati. Let me have a look. Saraswati, see, this is the Saraswati. Okay, this is the Kali. Okay, so this is the Durga, see, and this is the Lakshmi. So well, all these Indian god, I know them. But they don't know me, because I sometimes I was once I mixed with a lot of Indian, I go to read through all this, so I know them. So basically they are the pantheon, the belief to the multiple god, so this is Hinduism. Okay, next we go to the next paragraph. Yeah, Amanda, your turn to read, please. The Buddha. Okay, yeah, the Buddha.
The Buddha offered the middle way as the proper target, but the capacities of the people he taught were inclined towards either asceticism or pleasure. To guide these two different types of persons, two categories of Shravaka disciples arose, lay and monastic. The primary difference between those who remained at home and those who left home and gave up life was their lifestyle. During his lifetime, the Buddha preached the Dharma to people. After listening to the Dharma or realizing the truth, some volunteered to take refuge in the three treasures to become the Buddha's lay disciples. Others volunteered to give up lay life to become the Buddha's monastic disciples. Between the lay and monastic disciples, there were no differences in their beliefs, practices, and realizations. Why then did some volunteer to remain at home and others to give up lay life? They did so because of different personalities and lifestyle preferences. In order to accommodate those who wanted to continue life's pleasures, the Buddha allowed disciples to remain laypersons. They remained husbands, wives, and children. They continued to live as householders and to work as politicians, servicemen, farmers, laborers, and businessmen. These disciples included such people as King Bimbisara, Queen Malika, Elder Sudatta, Elder Chitta, and General Isidatta. Although they live as laity, they practice the Buddha's true Dharma, taking refuge in the three treasures, keeping the 5 precepts, practicing meditation, and attaining wisdom. As long as they kept the resolution to renounce, and as long as living a full lay life did not hinder their practice, they were still able to become liberated from birth and death.
Okay, thank you so much. Please highlight the point. Okay, class, basically, as we mentioned just now, in Shravaka, there's 2 types of people. One is the layman, one is the monk. Basically, for those who still want to keep some sensual pleasure, so you become the layman. And even though you, by keeping some sensual pleasure, you're still able liberated. So that's why we also target like for the layman. Okay, as for a monk, we have to give up some sensual pleasure. The reason is so simple, because I don't have any hair, you see. I can't go to the nightclub, you can go, right? I cannot go to the cinema, but you can go, right? Okay, even though I go to the mall, the place I can go, maybe it's the bookshop only, right? Oh, so for the layman, many places you can go, you see, because since you are wearing your costume, you got a lot of choice, you see. But for me, I remember my neighborhood, there's got one kid, you know, one day, he come to ask me one question. He said, hey, hi, I can ask you one question, why I see you whole year just wear one cloth only. I said, no, actually I got more than one cloth, but just style is just the only style I have only. So that is the, as a monk, we have to sacrifice all this. We don't have the hairstyle, then the clothes just same only. Okay. So it makes us difference. As a monk, we have to give up all this because our icon can make us to do the preaching more effectively. Sometimes people come to learn Dharma, they begin from the icon. They will think that, oh, I want to learn meditation, so I begin look for a band. So meaning to say the icon is important for the preaching. But we have to give up certain thing so that we can how to say in order to get this icon. We have to give some sensual pleasure, but in helping for the Buddha Sasana. All right, so now we go to the next paragraph. Okay, Kamling, your turn to not yet. Let's take a look. You see here, there could a few people, you see. Yeah, for the layman, you remain your status as a husband and wife. Okay, then maybe you also remain your occupation. Okay, so you see, it will include people like the King Bimbisara, all these figures that appeared in Nikaya, Elder Chitta, General Isiddhartha, all this. They are still, they are the layman. Okay, now next paragraph. At the same time, Kamling, your turn to replace.
At the same time, in order to accommodate the ascetic nature, the Buddha provided the opportunity for disciples to renounce lay life. Go up a bit. People of this category were mostly those from among the monastic non-Buddhists who are transformed by Buddha's teaching. These include the first 5 bhikshus, Mahakasyapa, the 3 Kayaspa, Sariputra, and Maugalayana. Such people were accustomed to being renunciated and living solemn lives. Since they are content, had few desires, did not want to save up money, and kept away from sexual desire, they volunteered to give up lay life in order to be samanas. Sramana is a Sanskrit word that means diligent stopping and is the general name for various kinds of people who have renounced lay life. This is a broad categorization. Obviously, if people have impure motives of give up home life regretfully, their basic nature may remain that of one who seeks pleasures. For example, when the Buddha returned to his native land, a large number of young people from the Sakya clan followed his example in giving up lay life. Yet, these young people, such as Ananda, did so with a spirit that was different from that of Mahakasyapa and others. On the other hand, they were also lay disciples who led solemn lives.
Okay, thank you so much. Please highlight the point, please. Okay, class, take a look. So the opposite of the layman There's other group people, we call them as a Sramana. So let's take a look. So this is the group of the Sramana we mentioned here. Sramana. In Chinese, we call it as a Samana, the Sramana. A Sramana is not limited to Buddhism. It could be from other different traditions. As long as, if you don't totally agree with the Vedic tradition, you are considered as Samana. That includes the Jainism and Buddhism also in Samana. Maybe this is not that obvious. Maybe I put this word. Samana. 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 Okay, or even worse. Okay, they just search all the door for me. Meaning to say that the algorithm sometimes is something wrong. the algorithm wouldn't fully understand me sometimes. So there's a meaning for the Samana. Okay. Well, basically, the best example we can see from the Samana, usually we see from the Theravada monk. Let's take a look. You see, especially for Mahakashapa, they are the forest monk. Especially forest monk. They are the, once they stay in the forest, okay, they will be they can only stay. You see, take a look. You see, they will walking meditation in the jungle, okay, and then maybe just keep 3 pieces of the cloth only, okay, and some they will just stay the kuti, and the kuti is very small, which is near in the village, okay, and they meditate also in the village. Some meditate in the graveyard. And they are just allowed one bowl only, okay. So once they eat the food, maybe one day just 2 meals or 1 meal only. So this is the Sramana. We are still able to see if they are the forest monk. But class, if let's say you got holiday, you can try the lifestyle. It is good for you, because if you go, you just go with the forest monk, you will understand that our daily necessity are always excessive, because if you really follow them, you notice you cannot bring much thing. Really 3 pieces of clothes is enough. Wherever you go to the jungle, sometimes if the food is inadequate, you see. So wherever you see in the jungle, maybe just the skin of the tree, wherever you just eat wherever you get it, and you have to take a shower, maybe just along the river. You see, so this is a very good experience. You see, you're able to meet the river. They will meditate beside the river. You go 100% go back to the origin. So this is what the forest monks still doing. You can say they are the symbolic for the monk. But anyway, we noticed that among the monk, the forest monk, you can see some exceptional cases, which is Ananda. Ananda didn't really prefer stay in the forest. He prefer go to the community and start preaching the Dharma. Just like what I do now. I stay in the city, okay. So I preach. I also preach. I close to the people. I don't think there's a much difference between the monk in the forest and city, because now everybody is through internet to get know you all, right? Forest monk can do the same thing only, as long as you're on the computer, as long as you register a Facebook or Zoom, then you can get along with the people already. So meaning to say that nowadays, this type of internet already, break the barrier between the urban and the forest already. If you stay in the forest, every day you just go through the website, the Facebook. Not much different. You stay in the city, even though I stay in city, but when I attend the class, I use the Zoom. I limit my time to use the Facebook. It's just like I stay in the rural. So you see or not? Nowadays, things change already. We can't say where do you stay. It defines where is the place already. It depends on how is your because not everything is in the computer already. It depends how you make use of it. Okay, next, let's take a look. So this is because Ramana, the definition is the diligent stopping. But they also got some, you see, some laymen who lead to the solemn life. The way I see, yes, Mr. Leong, do you think you are the layman who lead the solemn life? Do you think so?
I don't think so.
But I think so. Because you see, you stay in your house only, you don't go out, or you are not very technology savvy, okay? So you got time, you just do meditation and cook a food for yourself. It's a solemn life already. What? You see or not? So to say that, how do you use the internet, all this stuff to decide which time you are category already? Not the place to stay already. Okay, next paragraph in short. Yeah, Sally, can you please read through it?
In short, whether people stay at home and pursue pleasure or give up lay life to pursue asceticism, they are Buddha's Shravaka disciples as long as they have resolution to renounce and live according to the middle way, without too much indulgence or too much asceticism. It is possible for those who practice according to Dharma realize the fruits of the Shravaka way and be liberated from birth and death. They prefer to live by themselves alone or live among people. Those who give up home life in Buddha's time were also different fundamental natures. Some of them, the forest-dwelling bhikkhus, prefer to live alone. They live in the mountains, wilderness, or graveyards and slept under trees or in the simple, crude grass huts. Everything they ate and wore was simple and poor. In order to avoid the afflictions of human affairs, they did not want to live with people. They do not even want to beg for alms or preach the Dharma. These hermit bhikkhus' minds were strongly oriented towards benefiting themselves, and they eagerly wanted to practice meditation. Others preferred to live among people, so they were called village-dwelling bhikkhus. They live harmoniously with people and do not leave the Sangha. Most of them live in the outskirts of villages. They frequently travel among people and preach as might be appropriate. Although they also practice diligently, they live in the community and kept in close contact with society. The development of Buddhism was primarily the work of these village-dwelling bhikkhus.
Okay, thank you so much. So class, please highlight the point.
That's why lah, Mintong kan macam Mintong. In short.
Okay, some more here. Okay, class, meaning to say that they got two monks, two types of the monk. So class, so this is the first type of the monk is a forest monk. So forest monk meaning to say that they are staying in the forest alone. Okay, then they prefer. Okay, so this is the forest monk. They will stay. They prefer stay alone, and they got their own kuti lah. Okay, maybe by group also 2 or 3 people. Some they just prefer stay alone only. So class. But besides this, there's other type of the community monk. So class, take a look. So this is the community monk, you see. So they are stay with the community. They are the one who work hard to preaching the Dharma. But for the forest monks, since they stay in the forest, they prefer meditate by themselves. They prefer stay alone. They don't really work hard for the Dharma preaching, you see. So if that's the case, they prefer to choose to the jungle to stay in their kuti. If that's the case, so how do you consider me as a forest monk or city monk? So, Yongsi, what do you think?
City monk.
City monk. But I stay alone. No? Right? No? You see, I'm meaning to say nowadays we got new things already. Because in ancient time, if they are the forest monk, basically they will stay alone one. Okay, in the jungle, so they're more on meditation. They even don't pindabat, you know, they do go to arms round, you see. And then the other time, they stay in the city, so they will always keep contact with the people, always work hard in the Dharma preaching. They won't stay alone, they will stay a group of people. But in Malaysia, now we have a Malaysia style that the monk will stay alone, but in the city, but we contact with the human, but by Zoom now lah. So this is a new style monk. We have to rewrite the article already. Okay. Then next paragraph. So let's take a look. Oh, I got a new name already. Oh, please, I'm not city monk and I'm not the forest monk. I'm the Zoom monk. Because today I got 4 Zoom lessons. 1 week I got totally 15 Zoom lessons. So just call me Zoom monk. Hey, even meditation and Qigong also by Zoom. So exactly I'm the Zoom monk now. Now it's a new name. Okay, for example. Okay, Yokwa, your turn to read. For example.
For example, Sayamuni Buddha frequently lived with his disciples, traveled to various countries, and taught and transformed sentient beings. This was the model for the bhikkhus who live among people. The Buddha also lived alone for 3 months. 3 months practicing anapanasati, meditation on the breath, which serves as a model for living alone. According to the true meaning of the Buddha Dharma, to live alone means to live without frictions in the mind. Otherwise, regardless of how quiet the environment is, one will still have confused and scattered thoughts. On the other hand, if one's mind is tranquil and liberated, one can live alone or live among people and travel and teach among them. Thus are the differences in the fundamental natures and the preference of these 2 categories of learners, which are similar to the different styles of the Sravaka and the Prachaka Buddhas. Their behavior may follow their belief, or their behavior may follow their understanding. During the Buddha's time, another broad distinction was made, one that is still applicable to both lay and monastic people. Among the Sravaka disciples, those who were doubt-based their practice on beliefs and faith. Those who were intelligence-based their practice on understanding. A capacity for both belief and wisdom is essential for the study of Buddhism. It distinguishes the Buddha Dharmas from some non-Buddhist teachings. Belief is emotional while wisdom is rational. So Buddhists should have these two equal developed and in harmony. Having belief but not wisdom, one becomes more ignorant. While if one has wisdom but no belief, one's devious views multiply. The Buddha's Dharma says that belief and wisdom are just one. But when one looks at the fundamental nature of actual Buddhist practice, one will see that some Buddhists emphasize beliefs and faith, while others emphasize wisdom. Although the ultimate goal is the same, they start with an inclination towards either beliefs or wisdom.
Oh, okay. I think this we should pronounce inclination.
Inclination. Okay.
And this is a tranquil. Tranquil. Okay. Yes. Please highlight the point. Yes. Hey, Banana, please. If I teach the pronunciation wrongly, Kamling, Sally, and Mr. Leong, please point out because we are Chinese, not as good as you all. Because you is enthusiastically learning English. Okay, Sally, this, how do you pronounce this? Disciple or decipher, Sally?
Disciple?
Not decipher.
No, disciples.
Oh, because
Which one are you talking about? Which one are you talking about?
No. That is what, Sally, take a look. This one. His disciple or decipher,
Disciple?
Disciple, not decipher. Oh, because the Xuan Zhuang, the video clip you introduced me, the narrator used to pronounce decipher. So I thought I misguide Yukwa already, because Yukwa in the beginning you pronounce as decipher. Kamling, disciple, right? Not decipher. Disciple. Okay, so the narrator wrong already lah. Sally, complain to him. Okay, okay. One more paragraph here. Okay, class, let's take a look. Okay, for the previous paragraph, okay, we talk about whether the monk should stay alone, they either stay alone or they stay in the group, you see or not. So he could Shakyamuni as an example, because we noticed that for Shakyamuni, the Buddha, Buddha practiced vasa before and stay alone. You see, class, take a look. You see, this is how is the Shakyamuni lifestyle. You see, Shakyamuni, sometimes he will stay alone and 3 weeks for vasa. We don't see a clear picture here. Basically, most of the time we will see Shakyamuni stay in the group, in group. But it shows that during vasa, sometimes Shakyamuni will stay alone. Buddha stay alone. Yeah. It doesn't appear It doesn't appear. Buddha stay alone. It doesn't appear. Okay. All right. Besides, they whether stay alone or stay in the group. Okay. So just now, according we mentioned, Shravaka, it could be layman, it could be the monk. Okay, and then it could be the layman. It could be layman or monk. Then, if there's a monk, it could be a forest monk. Or city monk. Now we got Zoom monk. Okay, and then lastly, there's one other category is whether you are the belief, either you are the belief type people or you are the wisdom type people. So meaning to say that if let's say you learn Buddhism, okay, I mean for Buddhism, the faith and the wisdom both have to be balanced. If you are overemphasized on the faith without wisdom, it could be the blind faith. Whatever people say, you just believe in it. But if let's say you only have the wisdom, intellectual, without a faith, it could be deviate. Why? It could be the deviate. Why? Because everything you just skeptical, everything you try to analyze, you can hardly believe. So this is other extreme. So for Buddhism, we emphasize that there should be the balance between the faith and also the intellectual. So class, how do we know whether you are faith type people or intellectual people? Number one, class, if you prefer asking the question and you prefer asking the question, you prefer analyze the thing, so you are considered the intellectual or wisdom type of the people. But if let's say they are basically they are quite independent. Okay, they are quite independent. But if you are the type who is quite dependent to the teacher, okay, then basically you always have faith on certain thing. One, you prefer chanting Buddha name, you feel secure. Okay, so this is we call is the faith type people. So you must be either one or the other one, or maybe half. Okay, so do you think you are the more intellectual type people? Can you put up your hand? You think you are more intellectual type people? You prefer asking questions. So Yongsin number one. I think Yukwa yes lah. Yukwa also yes. And Mr. Leong also yes lah. Okay. So who are more faith type people? You think you are more faith type people? Amanda and Sally lah. I think lah. I think coming is half. And Mrs. Leong are supposed to be more faith type people. The way I see you all so either you are one or second. So just try to balance yourself, please. Okay. So in Stravaka, this is the other way we categorize them. You see, so this is the worst. Let's take a look. Having belief without wisdom, you become ignorant. You see, just have the belief. If you've got the wisdom without the belief, once we be deviate, we will be multiplied. You see. Can you check for me what's the reference for this? Number second, number two. What is the reference? Can you check for me? On the mic, please. What sutra is it?
Abhidhamma.
Correct. What again? Abhidhamma. Abhidhamma. Just Abhidhamma only.
Abhidhamma Mahavipassa.
Abhidhamma Mahavipassa. I get it. Yeah, Abhidhamma Mahavipassa. Yeah, this is a quite famous Abhidhamma. It's about 200 volumes. Abhidhamma Vipassana. Let's take a look at class. Abhidhamma Vipassana. Yeah, show it Abhidhamma Vipassana. Yes, Abhidhamma Pitaka. Abhidhamma Vipassana. Not this. Hey, why it doesn't appear? Vipassana. Mahavipassa Sastra. Is this one Abhidhamma Mahavipassa Sastra? Yeah, it should be this one. Let's take a look. So this is Abhidhamma Mahavipassa Sastra. This is an ancient Buddhist text, and it is authored around 150 CE, quite early stage. So class, take a look. This is the representative for the Savastivada. Class, take a look. You see Okay, after Buddha Parinibbana, there's two schisms have been separated. One is the Mahasambhika, other one is Stivara. From Stivara, we will see Savastivada. Whereas for Savastivada, it is populated in where? It is populated in, take a look. It's in the Kashmir. So this is the famous. It is populated in Kashmir. This is the place. Let's take a look. Abhidhamma Vipassana is compiled in this place, which is so beautiful. Let's take a look. Because since it is the area, they are quite high altitude. The area is quite high altitude. They produce a lot of meditation masters here. See? You see, it all looks good. You see, so this is where the original place of compilation of the Abhidhamma Vipassana. So I mean, with the encouraging sponsorship from Asoka, King Asoka, this Sarvastivada, they are very strong influences. And there's one Chinese high monk who bring back all this Abhidhamma to the China. So Sally, who is the Chinese monk to bring it back? On the mic, please.
Xuan Zhang. Xuan Zhang.
Yeah, besides Xuan Zhuang, do you have any alternative or not?
The other one is what? Not the name.
Actually, not much. Either Xuan Zhuang or Fa Xian. Only
Yeah, Fa Xian. Fa Xian, yeah.
Not much choice. So you just simply answer should be correct. But the answer is correct. Because just A or B only must be correct. So that is correct. It's a Xuan Zhuang. Hey, Kamling, just finish all the video clip. Don't
So
waste.
many. There's so many episodes.
No, just 5 only lah.
5 eh?
Yeah, 5 only. Because two episodes in one video clip.
I know, but it was so many about. Now I reached 12 already.
37 Sifu.
Huh?
37.
37, a lot.
37?
No.
Yes.
37
Yeah,
Continue.
they will go back from going, then go back to China, then the translation. A lot.
No, total 37
Yeah.
You think so fast? I said, why you finish so fast? I haven't.
Oh, I thought just 12 only. Because yes, okay, I go to check furthermore. Hey, actually, I like it so much. I watched for 2 times already, Okay, never mind.
Continue. And now only I reached the Xinjiang, I reached China. I want to meet the emperor only.
Okay, okay. Hey, Sally, you send me the rest. I don't know why I couldn't find it. You mean 17, 18, all these. Send some links to me. Okay, very good. I like it so much. Okay. Okay, so this is Abhidhamma Mahavipassana. So we know the reference regards this. Okay. For Amanda and Yongxin, I think for those who study the history of Buddhism, you can link all just the language problem only. Same thing only. Okay. Okay, next, let's take a look. You see, now, ultimate goal is the same. They begin with the inclination, either belief or the wisdom. You see. Now we go to define the behavior. Yeah, Amanda, your turn to read. Behavior means.
Behavior means the specific characteristic formed from one's usual and consistent habits. Greedy behavior, angry behavior, etc. Those whose behavior follows their beliefs tend to trust others easily, and everything they do revolves around their beliefs. If people with such characteristic encounter the Buddha Dharma, they will do whatever their teacher tells them. They are not interested in finding out the reasons. They believe what they hear and behave accordingly. Those with this type of character should not be given detailed discourses, for not only do they not feel the need for much instruction, but extensive instructions may even confuse them. Such people can be told to follow but cannot be told the reason. People like this learn primarily by associating with good and knowledgeable people and by following the instructions of teacher. They just believe and behave accordingly. And from their practice, their wisdom gradually grows. Those who practice according to their understanding are different. They are always rational and want to find out the reasons first. They insist on getting to the bottom of the matter. After listening to the teacher's instruction, they want to add their own observations, analysis, and references to the sutras and discourses. Reaching a profound understanding, they believe firmly and practice diligently. Their minds are sharp, and they have the ability to guide others in their practice. Neither type of person is without some belief or wisdom, but people inevitably have an inclination one way or the other. Not only beginners, but even those who have attained enlightenment have different characters.
Okay, so class, please highlight the point. Okay, class, let's take a look. So just now, all this we mentioned before, if you are the type of the belief type people, so they are not interested to find out the reason, they will do whatever the teacher tells them. So class, you are the same type people, make sure you get a good teacher, a right one. So you need some, we call it intellectual type people, help you to find out a good teacher so that they won't misguide you. Okay. Then next, I see, we will try. They will need less. They will need less instruction so that they won't feel confused. You see, whereas if you are the understanding type people, so you prefer reason and you are rational and prefer the reasoning. So for those who are this type people, please work harder. Because in the future, you can become a good teacher. Because you are smart enough to differentiate, to look at to judge the people with the different capacity. So just work harder. In we are eager to get more tutors and lecturers. Even exam board, we need more members. So please work hard. If you wish to contribute yourself, here I will provide a room for you to contribute yourself. Okay. All right. But for understanding type people, they are more capable. So I mean, it is good for them to contribute themselves and help to make sure more people learn the Buddhism. You see, so you see, they are sharp. Okay, but one thing is because they have a tendency of finding fault. So make sure you always balance yourself. If you are the understanding type people, please do more metta bhavan to just balance yourself. Don't overlook for the fault. You'll be very scary to all the beginners. So have more metta if you're understanding type people. But whereas for the belief type people, they are very good. They are very mild. So they are very good in marketing. So we should send them for marketing. They will attract more people to come. But just sometimes they are too kind. Then they're not able to differentiate which one is the good people, which one is the bad people. Sometimes they will confuse. Okay. So that is the advantage. This is the pros and cons with the different personality. Okay, we reach the verse number 64. Okay, class, please close your eye. I give you 2 minutes to review, to recall from the picture you see and from the story I tell you. Just try to link everything now. Okay, don't watch, don't see the notes. Just try to recall by yourself. Okay.